And you are back with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. And you wouldn't fucking believe it, but Sydney has just had a fucking outbreak of COVID-19, and it looks like Sydney is going to be in full lockdown pretty soon. At the moment, it's restricted to the northern beaches. They're in lockdown, but I would say within the next 2 or 3 days, full Sydney lockdown. That's Boyle's prediction. The same fucking thing happened in Melbourne. There was a little bit of an outbreak in the welfare towers, the refugee towers, and then within the next 3 days, the rest of Melbourne was locked down, and it was locked down for 129 days. And everyone in Melbourne forgot about it within 30 days. No one gives a fuck about the Melbourne lockdown anymore. And now I've come to Sydney, and now Sydney's fucked. Melbourne has already started shutting the borders to Sydney now. So what this means for me is whenever the fuck I want to go home, I'm going to have to quarantine for 14 days. A little fuck you, Boyle, mini lockdown. I don't know where I'm going to have to quarantine, but if they make me quarantine in a hotel, I'm going to fuck a security guard. I don't give a fuck what's going on. I'm going to fuck a security guard. I might even fuck a few. Not even to help spread COVID, just to ease the boredom a little bit. Can you fucking believe that? I've been here 1 day. 1 fucking day. The lockdowns are fucking chasing me. At the start of the year when COVID-19 was first kicking off and I was in Sydney, Sydney looked fucking bad. It looked like it was going to take off in Sydney. And Melbourne was looking good. So I'm like, fuck that. I'm leaving Sydney. I'm going back to Melbourne. And walked directly into the world's longest lockdown. And now Melbourne is fucking cruising, and I needed to get the fuck out of Melbourne, so I came up to Sydney, and Sydney was doing all right. And I've been here 1 day, and now they've closed down the northern beaches, and I dare say Sydney will be locked down within the next week. They may postpone it because of Christmas, but I wouldn't get your hopes up. But the borders to the other states are shut now, so anyone who is planning an interstate holiday from Sydney to Melbourne and Queensland, wherever, that's over now. Forget about it. You're staying in Sydney. But anyway, mate, what can you fucking do? You can't do anything, can you? You just got to get the fucking job done. Just fucking do it. In some better news, though, I'm meeting up with my good friend Dino tonight. Fucking Dino. I'm really meant to be going with my wife to her friend's surprise party, but I will be staying there for exactly 15 minutes. I will be putting the countdown timer on my phone, and I will not be staying any longer than 15 minutes, not 1 second. And then I'll go meet fucking Dino and look at him as he drinks beers and smokes darts. I actually enjoy that. I actually enjoy sitting at a bar with someone one-on-one when they're drinking and smoking darts, and I just stare at them. I don't listen to a word they say. I just stare at them and think to myself, fuck, that looks good. But it'll be good seeing Dino again. We can have a fucking chat. We'll talk about the share market, fitness, aliens, drinking, consciousness, the horse racing, cricket. Who knows what can be covered in a conversation between me and Dino. I'm really tempted to have a dart too. I feel like I might crack on the cigarettes in the next week or so. And now I've said that, it's almost 100%. I am going to try and hold off though, but don't be surprised if I come back and say I had a dart last night. That can be my fucked up Friday story. Boyle had a dart. It was wild. But anyway, that brings us to the reason we're here tonight. It's Friday night. It's the Friday before Christmas. I don't even know if that's true, and I don't care. But it's Fucked Up Friday, and it's time for a Fucked Up Friday story. If you want to send in a Fucked Up Friday story, hit me up on social media. I'm Boyle Comedy on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Send it through. I'll do it. I'll get around to them all. There's a few backed up at the moment, so take your time. Write out a good story. But I will get around to all of them. Even if I have to start doing 2 Fucked Up Fridays every Friday. All right, so this story was sent in by Nick from fucking Glasgow. From Glasgow. Fucking Glasgow. I don't know if that's the right accent. I have no idea. So anyway, let's get to it. I currently live in Glasgow, but I'm originally from a little town called Milton Keynes, about half an hour north of London. There wasn't much to do there except go see one of your pals' bands on a Friday night, then head back to someone's gaff to get fucked up till Sunday. That is plenty enough to do. What else do you need, Nick? Do you need mini golf, do you? Kite surfing, do you? What do you need, Nick? That is everything. We were at Jim's house, who just happened to be a coke dealer too. See, that's all you need. You don't need mini golf and kite surfing. Just go see some bands on the weekend, have a mate named Jim, who's a coke dealer. That's your 20s made. That's your 20s and a little tiny bit of your 30s. And if it's too much of your 30s, it starts getting real rocky. Just make it your 20s. Don't even bother going into your 30s. It's not fucking worth it. Anyway, we're at Jim's house and spent all weekend taking a concoction of Eckies, ketamine and coke, as well as hammering high commissioner cheap whiskey for about 48 hours. Finally, at about 7 a.m. Sunday morning, Jim's had enough and says, "Right, everyone get the fuck out of my house. I'm going to bed." Fuck you, Jim. You can't load the boys up with drugs for 48 hours and then kick them out, you fucking scumbag. They'd probably run out of money, didn't they? Fuck them. Kick them out. So we all get booted out into the street, eyes like pies, to wander around the village, figuring out what the fuck to do with ourselves. Eventually, our gear runs out, and I decide, in my happy-go-lucky ecstasy land of love, and I can get away with anything world, decide that it would be absolutely fine of me to break back into my friend's house and help myself to his cocaine. I'll just leave him a little IOU, I thought. I actually see nothing wrong with that thinking, Nick. I understand it sober. I'll break into his house, take what I need, I'll leave an IOU. My IOUs are better than fucking cash. They're actually better than gold. Gold's just a rock. Anyway, back to it. So I hop his fence, try his back door, which he fucking left open, hooray, and slowly tiptoed up his stairs and into his bedroom, where he and his girlfriend were sleeping. Ballsy. I like it. I very carefully pull open his bedside cabinet, get his scales out, and start to weigh myself out a gram from a huge bag of shit. So you can tell Nick is a good guy. He's weighing it out. Even though he's broken into his drug dealer mate's house, he's helping himself to the stash of cocaine. You can still tell he's a nice guy because he's weighing it out. He's weighing out a gram and he's leaving an IOU. He's not fucking robbing him. If it was me, I would not have even looked at the fucking scales. I would have got a soup spoon and a fucking shopping bag. That's it. Whatever I can fit in it is mine. I'll fix you up for a gram. Actually, I would have just taken the whole stash and put an IOU down with someone else's name on it. So at that point, as he's weighing out the shit, one beady eye opens on Jim's face. He looks at me. I look at him. There's a moment of stunned silence before he fucking roars into life. "What the fucking hell do you think you're doing?" To which I reply, "I'm only weighing a 0.8. I promise. I left a note. Look." See, nice guy. Good soul of the earth type, this Nick. Jim rises out of bed like a red fucking angry genie from a lamp. His missus wakes up and starts screaming. He grabs me by the neck, picks me up off the floor, and carries me all the way down the stairs, my feet not touching a single step on the way down, and throws me out into the street shouting, "You're lucky I don't beat the fucking shit out of you." I scarper around the corner to my awaiting mates. I got the gram. Legend. You would have been a fucking legend among men. A true hero of the Milton Keynes Knights. Pulling that off and then going back to your mates and starting to rack up lines for them. You would have been in my legendary books forever doing that. That's fucking brilliant. And then at the end he goes, "Me and Jim are still good friends to this day." So he obviously paid him back for the 0.8. Nick, you're a good guy. And that is a story about a good person. Yes, there was a break and enter. Yes, there was burglary. Yes, there was theft. Yes, there was drug use. Yes, there was a tiny little bit of voyeurism in there as well. But you have to read between the lines, and Nick is a good man. Thank you very much, Nick, for sending me in the story. That's it. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you the fuck later.